So the immunity decision came in, and people are freaking out. So I thought I would add a little bit to it from my perspective. The Supreme Court decision is pretty much what I expected it to be. When I say expected, what I expected it should be if it were to follow constitutional norms. Essentially, we end up with fairly expansive immunity for the president. Essentially, we have a situation where the Constitution, excuse me, the constitutional duties are absolute. His official duties, he has presumed immunity. And other areas, he has no immunity at all, meaning open for any type of uh, litigation or law, other things coming from the justice system. Now, the left has been pretty much completely losing their mind over this, assuming Twitter is a is a valid metric of that. I was out of town for a few days, and so Twitter has been my primary source of information for a couple of days. So I don't know how legit that is because it seems to be kind of the insane asylum of America right now. It seems a lot of this hysteria is being led by the media, and part of it comes down to not actually understanding the Constitution. Um, it seems like there's a lot of people out there who just want the Constitution to mean what they want it to mean rather than mean what it was intended to mean. And I also think there's a lot of people who just really enjoy being upset. So if somebody tells them something to get worked up about, then they basically spend the whole rest of the day having some kind of fit that somehow makes them feel better about it. Now, to add to the whole where is this hysteria coming from, the Supreme Court dissent response doesn't help. This was put together primarily by Sotomayor. Uh, so the quote is from her into dissent: when he uses his official powers in any way, under the majority's reasoning, he now will be insulated from criminal prosecution. Orders to Navy, the way she said it, Navy's SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival, immune. Well, one, you're assuming the president's always going to be him. Interesting. You're the left. Anyways, okay, first is not constitutional. So it does not fall under any of his constitutional duties in any way. So he would have no absolute immunity on it. It's not part of his official duties. So he wouldn't have presumed immunity. So it's a no on this. I mean, you could attempt to torture the idea that he could put an order out such like that. Uh, but if you've been in the military, you realize there's a such thing as a unlawful order, which this would be, and essentially anybody who tried to follow this order would be in extreme danger of the prosecution themselves. So this is just, I mean, silly is an understatement. And then she goes on to blather, organizes a military coup to hold on to power, immune. Again, no. The ability to perform a military coup is not in the Constitution, so therefore he would not have absolute immunity. It's not part of his official duties to organize a military coup against the United States government, so therefore he wouldn't have presumed immunity. Um, she continues, takes a bribe in exchange for a pardon. And then she says, immune, 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 immune. Okay, so again, there is no constitutional authority that allows him to take anything in exchange for a pardon. There is nothing in his official duties that allow him to take something in exchange for a pardon. Uh, In fact, the Constitution itself specifically lays out being bribed as a reason for being impeached. She pretends impeachment suddenly disappears because of this. And I don't really understand what we are seeing here in this dissent statement. I don't understand if she, and maybe it's a staffer who did the writing, who knows. Is she instigating unrest? Is that her goal? I'm almost, because if she's not trying to instigate unrest, the other choices are she's either stupid, crazy, or senile. And if it's the last, being senile, I'm starting to wonder if maybe she didn't write this and we have more dementia problems in the government than what we're aware of. And once again, she's pretending impeachment doesn't exist, and impeachment is specifically a remedy for bribery. Okay, and then what is this immune? Seriously, what the hell is that? Does she have English as a second language? Is this proof of her being a diversity hire? That the law school basically had a quota to meet? Or is she like not all there and some staffer filled it out? I mean, that sounds like millennial BS to me right there. Sorry, millennials. I know you're not all all representative members of your generation. In some way or another, I have to say this bitch is unhinged. I don't know. So another item popped up when I was out there on X. Uh, Somebody posted and they boosted it because obviously someone thought it was a deep thought. Essentially, what's the whole point of having impeachment in the Constitution at all now with this ruling? Okay, so this immunity is not conferred to impeachment. The president's immunity is immunity from litigation, immunity from being indicted by the justice system. Congress still has its full powers intact. So I don't get this at all. Uh, if you look at the Constitution, essentially what it allows him to be, him, see, now I'm doing it too, Sotomayor, making me assume it's a guy. So him or her in the future could be impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, which is how it's laid out in the Constitution. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's actually open to mean whatever the hell you want it to mean. If the president spits on the sidewalk, you can impeach them. Is it going to work? Don't know. Are people going to be up in arms over an impeachment like that? Possibly, depending on how much they like or dislike the person. So this is just crazy stuff. And the fact, I mean, it's one thing to wake up in the morning and find out the left is coming unhinged on something, and that's kind of like, okay, yeah, the sun comes up in the morning, the left is unhinged, no big deal. This is a Supreme Court justice saying this crap. That's scary stuff, really. So, in the comment section below, tell me what your take on this whole immunity thing is. What do you think of the dissent? Do you think the president's powers were actually expanded by this, or is this just a clarification of something that was pretty much already what we were doing for the past 200 years? Interested in your thoughts? Please smash the like button. If the YouTube algorithm has brought you here and you're not a regular subscriber, take a look at my other titles. Consider subscribing. And if you know somebody who might find this interesting, please share it with them. Thank you for spending time with me this evening. Hope to see you again in a future video.